Hi everyone, it's Gruntle back here with another podcast, and this week we have TheGingerGinger as the guest. We have a chat about all things gaming to do with him, and we talk about his live streaming, of course, and any other interesting things that came up during the chat. We had a couple of wisdom moments, I guess, ish. Anyway, it was an interesting chat. Had a good time, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. If you do enjoy it, leave a like and subscribe if you want some more. You know the deal. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, hello everybody. I'm Mr. Gruntle. My real name is Kai, and I am here with a friendly guy who streams almost every other day. He never fails to give a warm welcome, even towards the end of excessively long streams. Ginger, welcome to the podcast.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going, Grant?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Doing really good today. I've been kind of off kilter a bit the past week, sleep troubles and all that, but doing much better today.
Right, yeah. I'm sorry again. Just as we start this podcast, sorry that I ruined the timing around when this started. For the people that don't know, I organised to do it at 12 p.m. Ginger's time, which should be 8 a.m. my time, but for some reason I thought it was 10 a.m. my time. And so, yeah, a little bit late with the starting of the podcast, but anyway, let's get into it. So, just so that everybody knows the format of the podcast, first of all, we'll be delving into kind of Ginger's journey from gaming to streaming, and anything interesting that we might want to chat about in between. It's going to be pretty much chronological order, except for the many tangents that I'm sure will go on. So, yeah, basically it's the gaming past, what you do now, and where you see your future in terms of streaming and stuff. And then we'll end on a little bit of a Q&A if there are any Twitch viewers who want to ask any questions. Sometimes we don't get any, and that is fine. Alrighty. Anyway, let's get into it. Could we just start with a little bit about what you do now on Twitch, just so that anyone that isn't too familiar with you can just kind of get a bit of a recap?
Yeah. I stream the game I call home, as it were, would be pretty much the whole Borderlands series, but yeah, I was participating in the hunt.
Oh yeah, how did you are you still doing that now?
I needed a break after I had farmed several nights in a row for a gunnerang from Rackman in the fridge.
Really? Just from one guy?
And he was not dropping it, so I decided, whatever, I'll give that a rest, I'll move on to farm other things. So I'm working over Terramorphous, and I'm down to where all I need from Terramorphous is the pitchfork. So I'm farming, getting everything else but the pitchfork. And suddenly, after a few days of that, he drops me a gunnerang. And I started kind of going a little insane.
I can imagine that would be quite annoying.
Yeah, I decided I was going to go back to the fridge, and I was using the Deputy Sal build to do the fridge runs to get to Rackman. Which, after 2 or 3, it dawned on me. Rackman, based off of Batman. Who was an orphan an orphan.
Oh.
And the Deputy Sal build, its primary damaging gun is the Orphan Maker.
Yep.
So I just started losing it. I just giggling madly, and people in the chat were like, I think Ginger's losing it. I'm kind of scared. And I'm like, I'm kind of scared too. I think I need a break from this, and I haven't quite gone back to picking it back up yet.
Right, so basically you had a mental breakdown because you were playing the hunt too much and you've just stopped.
Pretty much.
That's fair enough. I would too if I was spending that much time farming.
Yeah. I've seen guys that like that are just still at it, and it's like,
Is
how do
Cheese
you
still doing
do
it?
this?
I think Cheese is still doing it.
I don't know. I know that High Five Flexington has been going pretty heavy. He's been streaming a lot.
Yeah. It's some people are
And
just crazy. They can spend so many hours doing the same thing and not get annoyed and just get the thing and then move on to the next one.
yeah,
I cannot do
I gotta
that.
say, I admire their mental fortitude.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so that's a bit about what you do now. Anything else you want to say, just to let everyone know?
Yeah, lately I've just kind of been trying to fill some of the space on the stream. Because okay, when I started in on the hunt, I had just been gifted some, or it might have been shortly into the hunt. Yeah, it was shortly into the hunt for my birthday. One of my viewers, Ace Unhacked, who is also another streamer and YouTuber, he gifted me a couple of things from my wish list with
Oh,
the
that's
condition that it was very, very generous. Ace is an amazing guy. But it had the condition of you got to play these on stream. And I was like, well, I'm going to have to wait until the hunt is over. So coming about April 10th, I've been telling people April 10th, when the hunt's over, I'm going to start Dark Souls 2.
Right.
So they can watch me have more mental breakdowns, possibly.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that can be your thing. Maybe your thing is just like consistent mental breakdowns.
I could see that being a thing.
Maybe even if you don't want it to be your thing, it might just happen.
Right. Well, I mean, there's already people talking about, we need emotes, and I'm like, I'm not even partnered. I'm nowhere near being partnered yet. And
Everybody loves their emotes.
oh yeah, that's one of the things that I'll tell you. I briefly checked out some of the other streaming sites out there. None of them quite seem to have the same, like, what's that word I'm fishing for? The same culture as Twitch has.
Yeah, I guess you checked out Hitbox.
Yeah, I looked at Hitbox briefly, and what was it? The other one was Beam.
Oh, I haven't
Very
heard that
new.
one.
It's still very new. They're still rolling out features for it and stuff,
Right.
but yeah, I went to each of those, and I was just like, it doesn't quite have that same quirky funness to it.
Yeah. On Hitbox, I noticed it kind of seems like a lot of the time most people are silent. Not that that's a bad thing. Lurkers are all good, but it just seems like I go into a stream with 100 viewers and there's only 20 people with Hitbox accounts logged in, and only about 5 of them are talking. But it's a person who's partnered and does it for a job, and they're getting like 5 people talking in chat. It seems like a very different environment.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't stick around long enough to really assess the interactions between people. I mean, truth be told, I've never actually sat and watched anything on Hitbox.
Right.
It was Beam was the one that pretty much the only one really that I've checked out.
Okay.
But still, it just, I don't know. Twitch feels like home to me, you know?
Yeah, that's fair enough. Anything else you just want to tell people, or should we get into some of the backstory of you?
I'm ready to continue.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
So first of all, or I like starting off with where you began your gaming. So, what was the first? What's the first memory you have of gaming, video gaming?
Well, here's where things get a little wonky for me going through my history and stuff, because I've got kind of big blocks of memory that are just not there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why, if it's like repressed memories or just I'm an airhead or what, but while I may not have the chronology down exactly, I do have I do remember some key events and you know, the highlights basically.
Right. Those will
So
work.
I started on I'm not sure if it was either Atari or the Apple IIe. But
I guess the Apple
yeah,
IIe was a computer.
yeah, it
guessing,
was a
yeah.
computer back in the 80s.
Right.
So I was born in 83. So
Maths. Right. Yes.
yeah. But anywho, so at school they had the Apple IIe computers, and I think at home was where I had the Atari.
Okay.
And my dad was an old school nerd. Like, he was back when the internet was all bulletin board systems. He was all over those.
Right.
So he was very tech savvy, and so we had okay, I don't know if do you remember the old 5 1/4 inch floppy disks?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. We had several long boxes, like these were longer than a shoebox, like an adult shoebox. But yeah, just discs end to end to end, or, you know, all lined up in there, just packed in, wedged in.
With games in them, on them.
Games, various programs as well, but most of it was games.
Wow. That's quite a collection.
So I mean, I grew up got into it on stuff like Pitfall, the original Mario game, like not Super Mario Brothers on the NES, but like there was an original one where like...
Is it just the platforming side scroller?
Sort of. It didn't scroll at all. If you left the right side of the screen, you would come back in on the left side.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it was a pretty cool game in its time. Nowadays, I'm kind of like, I don't know. But yeah, the highlight moment for me as far as Atari games was playing Joust.
Joust? What is that?
Oh, man. Okay, so in Joust, this was back before we got 8 million buttons on our controllers. It was just joystick and a button.
A button?
Well, a single button.
Yeah. That's not very many.
Nope. Anyways, with the joystick, on Joust, all you could control was left or right, and the button was used for flapping your bird's wings.
Wait a minute. I thought Joust was something to do with, like, sword fighting or something. Jousting. It's about a bird?
The thing.
Wait.
Sort of. It's about, you're playing as basically a knight riding a giant bird.
Oh, okay.
And you're jousting with other knights riding on birds.
Okay. Very
The
realistic.
basic mechanic was whoever was higher elevation when you collided would knock the other one down, would take him out.
Okay.
And it was a pretty hard game. And I got up to wave 87 on it, and then the power went out.
Oh no.
I was so upset.
Oh no. Did it have saves at all, or was it back when saves weren't a thing?
I don't think saves were a thing yet on that. Well, no, I know that on that game they weren't, but I don't know of any games that had saves back then.
Wow. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, the first game I recall that had saves was The Legend of Zelda on the NES.
Okay.
And at the time that I played that, I didn't quite fully wrap my head around games very well. I played them, but I was terrible at them. My older brother would always just completely school me.
Mm-hmm. The usual.
Yeah, pretty much. It's all good. Some point down the road, he came home from work and saw me with a score in the tens of millions on Tony Hawk Pro Skater. And he was like, dude, you need to bail out of that combo chain or you're going to biff it hard. And I was like, no, I got this. I can keep this up for at least another 15 minutes.
Oh, man.
He was like, I don't want to play this against you anymore. Like,
oh, no.
Finally.
That's great. So that's something I like to touch on here is the friendships and connections and things that you make through gaming. So do you reckon gaming kind of helped with your relationship with your brother at all? Like made it a more, I don't know, a brotherly kind of thing, or was it a competitive thing? Was there anything like that?
Well, the thing was my older brother and we didn't play much competitive, against each other kind of thing, unless it was the turn-based stuff where it's like player one, you get your turn. When you die, player two gets their turn.
Okay.
It wasn't until after my older brother had left home that I kind of got started getting into some competitive play with mostly with my younger brother. I didn't get out a whole lot, so most of the video games I played growing up were with one brother or the other.
Right, so you have two brothers then?
Yeah, one older, one younger. I'm the middle child.
That's same as me. Same as me.
Right on.
So you reckon I can't find the word. There is a word that I'm looking for in my brain right now. It's just not coming. But you and your younger brother got on well in the gaming field?
Mostly. I mean, by that time I started wrapping my head around the games a little better. And so when my dad had hooked up, basically he had hooked it up so that we had a LAN at the house. So me and my younger brother started off by playing StarCraft against each other. And he was still kind of new at it, and he loved his Protoss with the little cannon things that you build on the ground. They take down air or ground. So he just built a whole mess load of those.
Mm-hmm.
And then sent a bunch of ground troop type stuff. He had them all parked outside my base, and he was just waiting for I don't know what before he was going to storm in. And he was just sitting there waiting, and I was playing the Terrans. And
Just a disclaimer, I know pretty much nothing about StarCraft, so...
Oh, okay. Terrans, basically, they're the humans.
Okay.
In StarCraft. And one of the things that's unique to them is the ghosts, which is they're kind of like infiltrator, covert special ops type guys.
Okay.
And one of their abilities is that they can laser paint a target to have a nuke dropped in.
Oh.
So I cloaked my ghost, marched it out there into the middle of his guys that were waiting there, and had the ghost laser paint right in the middle of all those dudes. And then the next thing I know, finally the nuke was ready, it launches, the game announces it, and I hear it on my end. You know, with that, the Terran announcement thingy had like this digitized female voice go, "Nuclear launch detected." And I know on his side with the Protoss race, it would have like this kind of almost demonic-ish sounding voice. And it'd be like, "Nuclear launch detected." Mm-hmm. And the next thing I know after it launched, I hear him yelling from the other end of the house going, "Oh my God!"
That's great.
It was so much fun.
Sweet. So did he eventually get better at the game? Do you guys play it a lot?
Well, that game we eventually kind of moved on from, but there were plenty of other games that we played a lot against each other, like Smash Brothers. Mm-hmm. We played a lot of Smash Brothers and doing cheap stuff like playing as Donkey Kong. You grab somebody and you can basically slam them, put them up on your back, and you can walk around with them. Including off the cliff, and they can't, unless they break free of the grab, they're going with you. And even though they're on top of you on your back, for some reason they die first when you fall off the edge of the
I see.
in-game area. So yeah, we would do cheap stuff like that to each other. We'd be like, "Oh look, I'm ahead of you by at least one life." Grab, dive.
Man.
But I moved away from home, and when I came back one time, he wanted to play some Halo. I did not realize that the thing was on a prior visit, I had noticed while I was playing Smash Brothers with him that his reaction time was really slow, like abnormally. And I was like, and I started kind of looking a little closer at him, and I realized he was stoned out of his mind. So, you know, and I know guys that when they get stoned, they play better.
But he was not one of those guys?
Yeah, no. So I thought, oh, okay, I can just dance circles around him, throw items up in the air, and they'll come back down on him because he'll forgot that I threw him up. Stuff like that. So when I come back the next time, I figured, oh, he wants to play Halo? He's probably going to be stoned again, and I'll school him. That's not how it worked out. Like, he had stuff down. He was bouncing grenades off of walls.
Oh, okay.
And stuff like that to just nail me. It's like, okay, you were on the other side of the map. How did you put a plasma grenade right on my face? And he goes, "'Cause I knew where your spawn point was."
Right, so like, he became heavily addicted to Halo and just schooled you.
Very much so. I was like, oh my god, my little bro has become a complete badass.
He's all grown up.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was kind of an awesome moment, even though it stung my pride, but hey.
Right. Are there any other standout games that you can think of?
The Metroid Prime trilogy, I played each one as it came out. I never played any other Metroid games. So I've never played like the original or Super Metroid. But then Metroid Prime came out, and I heard a lot of people bagging on it because they were like, what? They turned a platformer into a first-person shooter? How do you... I don't even... but I really liked it. It had, really gorgeous scenery, and it spurred the curiosity. It had this whole exploration element that the Metroid series, I later found out, is known for.
So what is involved in that game? I'm not familiar with it.
Um, Basically, the main character is a bounty hunter, and but bounty hunter only really in title. She seems more like just kind of a do-good mercenary.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, it usually involves going to various locales on whatever planet that game takes place on. And basically, like, you'll come across stuff that, like, doors that you can't open when you first encounter them.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on in the game, you'll get an item like a different beam weapon or a different type of bomb that'll open those doors.
So is it kind of an exploration game?
Yeah, very much so. Matter of fact, if you wanted to check out more games in that vein, next time you're on Steam, I think in the tags there's Metroidvania.
Okay. I've heard
which
of
is
that.
all, yeah, games that are in that vein, because they're
Yeah.
kind of, because Metroid had that element to it, and so did the Castlevania series.
Right. Okay. So it's that kind of exploration-y type.
Yeah,
Okay. Might have to check those out.
they're fun. They're great games for spurring, like I said earlier, spurring curiosity, kind of giving that sense of wonder and exploration.
You know, those are the kind of games that I enjoy watching other people play. Like, if my friends are playing something on the media PC in the living room, I quite enjoy watching them. Like, they'll play a lot of walking simulators, or kind of find all of the different things and put them together in a certain way and do the puzzles and move on to the next area and explore and that kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Game sounds like games that engage the mind.
Yeah.
At
I'm not
least more than just training muscle memory, like a lot of the Twitch shooters do.
Yeah. I enjoy watching those, but I don't know if I enjoy playing them as much. I think I enjoy watching someone else figure things out and then, like, telling them what to do when I figure it out and just letting them do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even then, just spectating on a game like that, it's still engaging your brain.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
don't even have
true.
to be the one playing to get the enjoyment out of it, really.
Fair enough.
And as they say, two heads are better than one.
Yeah, except if I keep trying to say, no, you're doing it wrong, gotta do this. No, come on. Oh my god, what are you doing? I have to stop myself sometimes from being that annoying bastard. So the Metroid series, Metroid Prime series, was it? They were a good series, or was it a good series of games for you?
I really enjoyed them. It was kind of my first real experience with, like, good solid like 3D games. Everything else, for the most part, that I had played before was oriented around two dimensions. I mean, there were games I had played in 3D before, pardon, in 3D before the Metroid Prime trilogy, but it was stuff like Perfect Dark, like stuff on the N64 where it's like, okay, yeah, this is 3D, but
Not quite 3D.
yeah, kind of. The biggest thing for me on those was the polygon counts were so ridiculously low that, like,
Right.
it looks like somebody did paper mache with some triangles and stuff, and it's like, even back then I was like, this is not as good as it could be.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of actually a time in my life when I was not as much into video games, and I did more like tabletop gaming and chat-based role-playing games.
Right. Tabletop gaming is something that I wish I could do more often, but I don't own any tabletop games myself, so I always have to wait until my friends bring them round or they organize something. But I quite enjoy those.
You might want to look into Tabletop Simulator on Steam.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did actually. I purchased that and downloaded it. I've just never used it.
Oh, dude, go into the Steam Workshop on there. There are tons of like people have. A lot of it is like people have recreated existing games, like I can't think of any off the top of my head right now.
Well, there's Cards Against Humanity that I know of. That's the reason I got it. But
I still need to play that, like the Cards Against Humanity
Borderlands
edition.
Yeah.
That, oh man.
What kind of tabletop games did you play back in the day?
Back in the day, for the tabletop RPGs, I played. Well, I got my start in Vampire the Masquerade, and Werewolf the Apocalypse. These were all made by a company called White Wolf Gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a dark urban fantasy kind of thing. So it was a lot of fun, but a lot of the people that I knew that played it, mostly they played it like the way that some people play Grand Theft Auto, where you just kind of like do what you feel like because you can get away with it.
Okay. So not really doing it for trying to win the game or doing it properly.
Well, the thing is in tabletop role-playing games, it's not so much whether you win or lose.
Well, right, yeah. It's the experience building up to the end of the game and the teamwork or whatever you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the experiences, the stories you get to tell afterwards of, oh my god, I can't believe he drove the motorcycle off the roof and expected he was going to survive, or something like that.
Have you, trying to think of one that I've recently played. Is it Stargate? No. It's the one with the Cylons. Battlestar Galactica.
Cylons.
That's the one.
Right.
There's a tabletop game for that, which is quite fun. Basically, usually I play it with 5 or 6 people, and everyone gets a card at the start of the game and halfway through the game, and that tells you whether or not you're a Cylon. Basically you can start out as a human and then find out later in the game that you're a Cylon.
Trippy.
Yeah, the whole point of the game is to, even if you are a Cylon, you don't want to be found out too early. You want to there are different scenarios that you've got to try and get the rest of the crew and ships through with kind of the least amount of losses, or maybe some gains. But you can kind of sabotage them, because often they're like you can put cards into a vote thing, and it's kind of like an invisible vote. No one sees what cards you put in there, so you could put things that are going to vote against the better option or go against your the rest of the humans. So you try and, if you're a Cylon, you try and sabotage without being found out. If you're a human, you're trying to get to the final jump. It's quite a lot of fun, because for most of the game you're going, did he do that because he's a Cylon trying to act like a human? Or is he a human? Or is he a human now but will be a Cylon later? And am I actually a Cylon, or am I actually a human? And it's just, it's a lot of like accusing everyone else of, oh, you did that totally because you're a Cylon. Oh my god! And like, no, I'm not a Cylon, guys. Come on, I'm a human. Please don't hurt me. It's a lot of fun. It's great.
Yeah, that sounds like actually I think a buddy of mine might have, because as you were talking about it, I was like, this sounds very familiar. And I've got a buddy that we haven't been doing our weekly game night in several months now, but he's got a collection of board and card tabletop games that numbers in the thousands.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's like his passion in life is the tabletop games.
So he probably has it then.
Yeah, and he was probably telling me about it at one point, but yeah, I've only about a year ago did I start getting my attention deficit disorder. Well, heck, a year ago I was diagnosed with attention deficit disorder and finally started getting treatment.
I didn't know this. So you mean you had it the whole time, but you were only diagnosed with it then?
Yeah, I went through the first 30 years of my life being
actually,
told that
I think I do know this. I think I talked to you about this on one podcast. Oh, not podcast. One of your streams.
Like one of mine or one of yours, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was something anyway. There's some conversation I remember now. So sorry, carry on.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, so I went through like the first 30 years of my life not really doing well at the whole focus thing, and being told by parents, teachers, whoever, pretty much, that I was lazy or that I was a liar and all this stuff. And yeah, finally at 30, it's like, okay, now this puts everything in perspective, and it's been great finally getting that taken care of. So now it's a little easier for me to figure out where exactly I'm supposed to fit in the world, basically.
That's nice. That's good.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's given you kind of a way to, well, you know that it is a thing, and so now you can do things to combat it and get past it.
Or to roll. Mostly what I do is to, and this is pretty much with any problem that comes up, if it's not something that I can just go head on at and just plow right through, I try to just roll with it and adapt.
Right.
I mean, that's how humankind survives, is adapting.
Yeah, that's true.
At least to, that which we can't just flip Mother Nature the bird over.
Right.
Like, you can't fly, you're a human being. Really? We're going to build these metal tubes with wings on them.
Yep.
Deal with it, Mother Nature.
Right, so you're more of an adapting kind of person than trying to change everything.
Mostly, yeah.
Right.
Mostly just because I've found that sometimes it's too hard to change. So.
Right, and I think a lot of people, I'm going to try and do some wisdom things here, but to be honest, I probably don't have any wisdom. But anyway, it seems like a lot of people try and change everything, or not change everything, but make everything the way they kind of want it, and then get stressed when things aren't right, or aren't right in what they think it should be, if that makes any sense. So like, if something goes wrong in your day and you try and fix the thing that went wrong, but it's just not fixable, and you could just kind of take note of it went wrong and then move past it. People kind of get stuck on some things.
Yeah. as far as my perception is going on all of this is everyone holds their own illusions about themselves, the people around them, what life is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And when things don't line up with that, then they get what psychology calls cognitive dissonance,
Mm-hmm.
which, yeah, I dealt with cognitive dissonance for many, many years. You know, going, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be, this is what I am. And that's when people seems to, as far as I've seen, is the number one thing that seems to stress most people out is when what they are and what they think they should be doesn't line up.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you just gotta accept yourself for who you are.
Yeah, I am here, this is who I am, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And like you can still try and change stuff, but you don't it doesn't have to be I'm not who I should be and that is bad. It's I'm this person now and I can be this person later. But I'm okay with
Exactly.
what I am now and I will be okay with what I am later no matter what happens.
Yes. That's it. That's hit the nail right on the head there.
Sweet. I'm probably just regurgitating from all the other podcasts I listen to though. So
Hey,
Um,
it's
yeah.
knowledge that I think more people could do to hear, because it, you know, a lot of people like just people that are made unhappy by what everyone else or has conditioned them to think should be and isn't. And it's like, just take what is and enjoy it. And if you can make something new while still enjoying that, then boom, perfect, right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't really remember where we were. I think we were talking about video games, but
Most likely. It's a
oh
big
no, we
chunk
were
of my
actually talking
life.
about tabletop games, weren't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
We moved on from that. Did you have any other kind of games, video games, tabletop games, or anything that kind of stand out to you in your past? Kind of molded your gaming something or other. Don't know what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say there, but
Oh, I get it. It's
yeah,
something that was something that was like a big factor in making me the person who I am today.
yeah, sure. There you go. Yeah.
Okay. Link's Awakening for the Game Boy. It was a Legend of Zelda game. Portable, thank goodness, or I would have never finished it probably. I was that kid that was always, you know, playing Game Boy in the back of class. But anyways, Link's Awakening. Really great game that, without spoiling the ending, just in case anyone, you know, finds an old copy of it and wants to play it or downloads it for an emulator, not that that's, you know, a legal thing to do, but just saying. But anyways, if, without spoiling the ending, all I can say is it was the first ending to a game that literally brought tears to my eyes.
Wow. Okay.
And I had always just thought to myself about games that, oh, these are fun. These are, you know, they're just something that I can do to have fun, get away from everything else. And then this game just punched me right in the feels. And that opened up my perception of what a video game could be. You know, it's an interactive medium that, due to its interactive nature, it'll pull you in. It's much easier to get emotionally engaged. And emotions are definitely part of the human experience. So it's like, this is something that can help me feel things without actually having to go through like traumatic events or anything.
Right, you don't actually
So I
have
get
to go to war zones and kill lots of people to feel bad
yeah,
about war. You can
exactly.
experience it playing in
Yep.
your comfortable living room or whatever.
Yeah. And so that was huge to me. That got me started looking for games with more, or at least I think it planted the seed for future interest in games that had more story, had character development, which led to games that I loved later on in life, like pretty much all of the BioWare RPGs, Knights of the Old Republic, Dragon Age, Mass Effect, all three of those series, which I haven't finished Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of those, I've played every one of them all the way through, except for the new Dragon Age Inquisition DLC. But I just found out about it like an hour and a half ago, and it turns out it's been out for 4 days.
Oh, wow. 4 whole days.
That's an eternity to me because as far as I knew it was coming out soon or that a trailer was coming out soon. I didn't know the DLC was coming out soon. So now I'm
Right.
like, I need to find room in my budget for the extra $15 so I can play that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But yeah, just games as a medium for stories and yeah, stories are magic to me, really.
They're
I
a pretty
mean,
wonderful thing. Yeah.
yeah.
You can learn a
And then,
lot. You can learn more than you think you would sometimes from stories, especially when you are a part of the story and you have to make decisions in the story, or you have to do
yeah.
things that affect what's happening around you rather than just watching it on a screen.
Yeah, that was that was kind of the thing that eventually, when I started playing those BioWare RPGs that I listed off, it hooked me in. It was like, wait a minute, the stuff I say and do actually matters. Oh my god, this is so cool. It's not just like, okay, you have to go here and do this thing or you make no progress. You're pretty much gonna make progress no matter what, as long as you do something.
Yeah,
It's
so
like,
and here's a bunch of things that you could do. Go
yeah,
do one.
yeah, and it's like that to me. That's a more solid life lesson. Because as long as as far as I've seen, it doesn't seem to matter as much what you do,
As long as you're doing
so
something.
as long as you're doing something and taking like your own happiness into account. Because if you just pick a path that you think that's your only option and then you just go charging headlong towards it, you first off, you miss out on everything else, and then also you've got, you're gonna just go for that one thing. And it kind of, to me, loops back to what we were saying earlier about people with the illusions that they hold, and then when like deviating or trying to deviate from those illusions or being forced to deviate from it, it's like it's stress. Being left with only one course is not good. We're human beings. We have free will. Well, I mean, that's up for debate, but I'm a believer in free will. I mean, to an extent, yeah, that gets into a whole
That's a whole other thing. It's a whole complete other podcast.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, we might move on here if
Okay.
you've finished that thought. I hope you have. Hope I'm not interrupting you there.
I think I have.
All right. We'll just pretend like
I've
you
already...
have.
Okay. I was going to say I've kind of forgotten what I just talked about. It happens.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I completely understand that. It's all good. We can move on to the next thing on my list, which is when you first got interested in live streams. So we've talked about your previous gaming and how you first started doing that and the standout experiences from that, and now live streaming. How did you first find out? How were you first interested in live streams?
Well, it goes a little before I actually got into the live streams themselves. In Borderlands 2, when the Hammerlock DLC had come out, I found the iridium furnaces scattered around Hunter's Grotto. I had found a couple of them, and I was like, what are these for, and why does it need so much iridium to be dumped into them? So I did what most modern gamers would do, and I Googled it.
Internet. Yay.
Yep. And I came across a YouTube video by Morning Afterkill, where he was talking about how, what those furnaces are for and everything, because he's running all over Hunter's
Screaming
Grotto
at
to
you
get to
in
him.
his screamy-ish voice that he has.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, this was the first video of his that I had seen, and he's in that particular video, he's talking about, I don't remember entirely what the off-topic stuff he's talking about, but it was very crude. I do know what the topic was, but it was just very crude, and I was like, who is this dick?
This guy. What
Yeah,
is
this
he
guy,
up to?
this guy's a scumbag, but his game tips were on point.
Spot on, yeah.
So I was like, well, maybe I can put up with how he is to get the good info. And long story short, through the course of watching his content, eventually I came to realize, okay, he's a different sort of person than I am by far, but he's got his good points. He's got his redeeming qualities. So, yeah, I can say I'm still, even though he's mostly, well, he flat out said he's abandoned Borderlands. Yeah. But I can still say I'm a fan of Morning Afterkill as a person. For the most part.
I haven't spent the time to get to know the guy behind the personality, so I can't say I'm a fan, but...
Yeah. I'd say the best way to maybe do that would be checking out his Road to 30 series.
Okay.
It's kind of like a autobiography, more or less.
Right, okay.
But anyways, so I had been watching his stuff, and he started doing some collaborative stuff with King Gathalion, who used to stream Borderlands and do Borderlands YouTube content. And lately he's moved on to Destiny and...
Like a lot of Borderlands streamers.
Yeah. I mean, heck, if I had a console, I would have probably fallen into Destiny too.
Yeah, if they put it on PC, I would have done it. Damn guys.
Yeah.
Why didn't they put it on PC?
From what I heard, it was due to the greater capacity for draw distances on PC would give PC players an unfair advantage, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. then just let all us PC players play together and
Yeah.
keep us off the console people.
Oh my god.
But anyway, so I started watching Gothalion, and he's a funny guy. And so I started watching him, and then I found out, oh, these Gothalions broadcasting live on Twitch. Well, live? What? It just kind of blew my mind. And so, yeah, I started watching him on Twitch. And I was like, this is pretty cool. But then here's where I started getting interested in it, was somehow from King Gothalion, I ended up getting directed over to Mitsurugi Reiji, which I know Gunzerker 44 mentioned him last time on your cast. Mitsu is a very community-minded person. I mean, heck, from what I found out, his real life job is basically doing community management for various companies on their websites, in the message boards and stuff like that. So it's like, all right, cool. So this guy knows a thing or two. So I hung around there listening to him talking about all that, and I was like, that was kind of when hearing him talk about building community, how to build a community and all this stuff. And also just the camaraderie in the chat. And I started realizing that was when I started realizing Twitch was home for me. This is where the gamers are at.
It's where all the cool kids are.
Yes. So I started looking into, okay, how do I do this? So I started poking around on the internet and got open broadcast software and tried using a Turtle Beach headset from my old 360 tried using it with my PC and had about 8 million technical issues. Eventually ended up saying, screw that headset, and got different hardware.
Right.
But anyways, yeah, this was about a year ago that I had started trying to live stream, and I was clumsy and awkward at it. This was right around the time I was first starting to get my ADD treated, so I was still kind of developing a brain, so to say.
A different brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, eventually after after I got a bit of, well, okay, I took a long span where I was just like, no, I'm terrible at this. I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to go back to doing my day job because that's the only option I have.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah. That goes back to the whole one-path stress.
Yeah.
And then when the pre-sequel came out, I was like, I kind of want to play, or when it was still being hyped for release, I was like, I kind of want to play this as Claptrap with 3 other Claptraps, just for the chaos factor. And then I got to thinking, this would be hilarious to watch. So then, that kind of put me back on the path to, okay, let's see if I can actually get this live streaming thing to work for me.
Right. So you're back in that stage of this could be a cool thing. I should try it again.
Yeah, and I mean now I'm actually I was let go from my last job at the beginning of last November.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, I've heard it said, well, one of the things that Mitsu always said was, if you want to build a community, do with the whole Twitch and the live streaming thing, stream every single day.
Yeah.
And I'm doing my best to do that.
Yeah, you're definitely streaming a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that I've got nothing else going on in my life at the moment. Not nothing else.
Sure, but you don't have a job taking up 5 days a week.
Yeah. I've got errands here or there, like grocery shopping, picking up prescriptions that I have to go do. But that's like 2 prescriptions a month I pick up, and grocery shopping maybe once every week and a half or 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, the only other thing I do outside the house really is I go out on Sundays. I go out to the next town over, basically, to visit my daughters at their mother's house.
Yeah, I see you posting on Twitter about that often.
Yeah. I got twin girls. They're about...
Oh, twins, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I was surprised. I mean, well, the mother, she had told me shortly after the conception, she had told me that, yeah, it's twins. And I was like, yeah, but we don't know if these are mine, so...
Right.
I don't... Yeah, until we... Yeah, basically, this goes into a whole story. It's
Well, I mean, you don't have to go into it if you don't want to. It's entirely up to you where you take this part of the podcast. So, if you don't want to talk about it, you don't need to. If you want to do a recap of important parts, go ahead. But yeah, it's over to you. So don't feel like you have to say anything.
Yeah, I'll just try to keep it to, the version that's not sounding like an episode of Jerry Springer.
Okay, right.
Basically, I had broken up with her, and this was after I had found out that she was pregnant, but it was not because of the pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, basically, because they were twins and various, stuff going on medically, we had to wait till they were born before we could do a DNA test.
Oh, okay.
But once we did the DNA test, sure enough, they are definitely got my DNA.
Definitely little gingers.
Mm-hmm. And I was, like, one of my friends was asking, so, do you have little ginger babies? Because my friend, she's got she's not huge on children, but she loves the thought of little ginger babies. And when I told her, yeah, they've got some red to their hair, she was like, eee!
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's probably how I go over puppies.
Yeah. But yeah, so it wasn't until, like, they were born last April, and I wasn't able to afford the DNA test until, like, July.
Mm-hmm.
And then the lab had issues processing it and stuff like that. And anyways, I didn't have it confirmed until, like, September.
Wow.
And anyways, part of me being let go from my job in November, mostly was due to, I'll admit, temper outbursts.
Okay.
And I was like, I can't be that man as a parent.
Right.
I grew up with a pretty bad-tempered mother, so I know what that can do to a kid growing up. And I'm like, no, I will not subject my daughters to this. So I told my ex, I was like, I can't be around the kids, and here's why. And she's like, yeah, you damn right you're not going to be around the kids like that. I was like, okay, good on you.
Well,
she's a great mother. But, you know, I went to therapy, and so I did some therapy, got medicated. I'm doing a lot better now, and I go out there 1 day a week because that's what works with her schedule.
right. Yeah, I think I just want to say, I think that's really good that you were able to notice something about yourself that you didn't like, I guess, or that you wanted to change, and then you were proactive enough to do something about it and talk to other people about it as well.
Well, I've kind of had to get to the point where I could do that to myself for myself, I guess. Just because I don't react all that well when, or at least in the past, I have not reacted well when somebody tells me you're doing this and it's wrong. You know, because that kind of goes back into that whole thing of, well, you're telling me there is one way to be, one way to go, one thing that I can do.
Right.
That's not how life works. Screw you.
Yeah, I kind of know people like that who any kind of criticism, be it even if it's someone trying to help them, it's kind of like they don't want to know. It's not really something that they want to try and change because you don't know what you're talking about or that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I've basically over the years I've pushed a lot of people away because they tried telling me how I should be, and I wasn't having it. And now, since I started working on myself on that one, I've been finding I'm much less frequently having to push people away, which is good because that means I get to, you know, connect to people more solidly.
Yeah, it sounds like you've come a long way.
Definitely. And I've had many friends that have said so to me. They're like, dude, you've made so much progress. You're like, well, I was actually just rereading a Facebook comment from a friend that she had said to me, you're definitely a different person than the guy I met, but you're still, at the same time, you're still the guy I met, and that's impressive. I was like, damn. That just hit me like a ton of bricks. Once again, the feels. Just
All the feels.
Yeah.
Don't need to be gaming to get the feels.
Yeah, no.
Actually, that could sound kind of creepy-ish.
Well,
Not that kind of feels. I'm not sure how. I can't remember how we got to that stage. We were talking about. Oh yes. So
what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're streaming a lot, and you're
Yeah.
you're visiting your daughters once a week.
Yeah.
But other than that, you have a lot of time to stream. Are you? I want to know. Are you kind of getting burnt out with that, or is it still an enjoyable thing to do every day and just jump on and talk with people and things like that?
The streaming is still enjoyable. I'm just having troubles settling into a game. Like, the closest I've been coming to settling into a game lately is The Binding of Isaac Rebirth.
Okay. Well, I mean, you don't need to settle into a game particularly. There are the streamers who kind of play games to complete them and then move on to the next one.
Yeah. And that's something that I would like to do overall, because as much as I played the ever-loving hell out of Borderlands 2 on the 360. I had at one well, shortly before I switched over to PC, I actually looked at all the data on my save files, and I was like, oh look, it's got my total playtime. So I totaled up everything and, converted anything over 60 minutes to an hour and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And found out I had over 52 solid days of playtime.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so I was like, I've played a lot of this game, and I knew, like, I'm still very knowledgeable about a lot of stuff in Borderlands 2, and even then, like, weapons parts, I'm kind of hit or miss on weapons parts,
Yeah.
like, recognizing them.
So you're not quite Baru level of that's a that and a this and a that.
Yeah, definitely not. I wish I had, like, yeah, I wish I was anywhere near Babu's level.
He's quite an impressive, knowledgeable person about the
Yeah.
Borderlands.
Mm-hmm. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, but then I've seen streamers like Man vs. Game, who he seems to go back to Dark Souls a lot, but he basically he pushes himself, he challenges himself, he sets out to beat every game that he plays.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of, I kind of want to do stuff like that. Like, I'm not the sort that would get into, like, the esports thing.
Right. Yeah, I think I enjoy playing Borderlands a lot, but then a lot of the time I'm also like, today I don't really want to play Borderlands, but I don't know what else I want to play. And so I think myself, I need to start playing new games, and maybe go back to Borderlands, whenever I want to go back to Borderlands. But so kind of having a base to like a home game, I guess.
Yeah.
To go back to, but then to do a bunch of other games that I find interesting.
Yeah.
I guess that's what you're trying to do as well.
Yeah, pretty much. Trying to branch out, and Borderlands is home for me. It's quirky, it's odd, it's a little buggy. So it's like, dude, this is perfect. This game is me. And but like the dark humor, and once again, have you? I saw you had started the new Claptrap DLC. Have you finished it yet?
I haven't finished it, no, but I've got a bit through it. I've got to Overlook, and I've started seeing the dark the dark stories about Claptrap. Not really. I don't know if dark's the right word, but yeah, like
No,
it's not light humor.
Yeah, no, and I've always had a bit of a penchant for the darker humor. So Borderlands, oh yeah, that was. I'm so glad my younger brother got me hooked into the series.
Oh, so he got you onto Borderlands then?
Yeah, like this was years after I had moved out, and after he had moved out and then back in with my parents, and yeah. Anyways, he was like, wait, you haven't played Borderlands? I was like, no, I haven't. He was like, okay, I know what I'm getting you for Christmas then. So, yeah, I got a copy of Borderlands Game of the Year edition for Christmas that year. And
Sweet.
about 4 months later, I took a break from whatever else I was playing at the time and fired it up. And I was like, this is actually pretty cool. I don't like the HUD, but the game is really cool.
Is that the original Borderlands?
Yeah, the classic Borderlands with that weird the compass part for the HUD.
Oh yes, yeah.
I hated that part of it.
And I've gone
love
back
my
to it and
mini-maps.
played it a bit, and the menus and things are also quite annoying.
Yeah. But even then, it's still, it's where
Apart
it
from that, it's a
started,
good
and
game, yeah.
yeah. And so, yeah, Borderlands will always be, I think it'll always be the series that I will come back home to. But at the same time, like I've recently discovered a kind of a love of roguelikes. So, like Binding of Isaac, Rogue Legacy, and if I'm understanding Dark Souls correctly, Dark Souls is kind of a roguelike, I think.
Don't ask me, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I
Have
don't
you
know what
started playing Dark Souls 2?
Not yet.
Right.
And I've actually pretty much avoided any knowledge of the game beyond rumors, basically, beyond what people will say in one or two sentences when they talk about the game.
Yeah, that's kind of me as well. I've got it on my wish list on Steam, but I just haven't. Like, I know that I would have to sink quite a bit of time into it to fully experience the game, so I haven't ever started that.
Yeah, and that's where I'm kind of like, well, I've got the time for that kind of thing now. And I can share the journey of it with whoever wants to tune in. So I'm like, all right, yeah, let's do this. So I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I can do pretty much all the games that I looked at and thought, I don't have enough time in my life for those. Maybe I'll play those when I'm retired. And now I'm like, hell yeah, bring on Skyrim.
That's pretty cool. I'm
Yeah,
kind of jealous of the amount of time you and other people have to play games and stream. But at the same time, I realize that it's a completely different circumstance that everyone else has, so I shouldn't probably be jealous. But
Yeah, in all reality, I've been not to. Yeah, basically, I've heard it said that it's considered somewhat uncouth to speak openly about one's financial circumstances, but I'm like, stuff's on the horizon, basically, and I'm like, I need to. Yeah, I may need to I maybe need to be spending more time out doing like temp work or day labor to deal with some upcoming red on my budget spreadsheet.
right.
So, because bills still got to be paid, and
Of course.
the two people renting rooms in my house, they're doesn't quite cover everything. But so yeah,
I guess
it's
you're
kind of a
making the
trade-off
most
there.
of the time you've got to game now, though, which is nice.
Oh yeah, definitely. And trying to eventually build up my stream to where I might be able to, apply for a partnership deal with Twitch and do this for a living.
Mm-hmm.
Because, if I can be real for a second, who wouldn't love to get paid to play video games and BS with people all day?
Yeah, totally. I completely agree with you in that. It would be an amazing thing.
Yeah, and just with the first, basically I started putting effort into streaming pretty much with the new year. And I've gotten a pretty big fan following over the past 3 months. So I'm like, I might be able to make a career out of this if I just keep at it, keep doing it, as long as I still enjoy it. Which it hasn't shown any signs of slowing on the enjoyment for me.
That's great. That is great. I hope you do well. It's always good to see people doing well, like Maminus. Maminus, is that?
Yes.
For some reason, I'm just thinking that's not the right name, but yes, that is the right name.
Yeah, Mammonis is...
Recently getting partnered is pretty cool.
Yeah, I was really happy for him on that, because he's been... Yeah, he went hard at the streaming for a good long while. And I'm not sure if life came up or what, but he had to drop off of it for a bit. But then he came back and just hit the ground running. And now he's partnered, and it's awesome. It kind of gives me hope, you know?
Yeah. Totally.
But also, I mean, it's... Every time I go in there now to watch him or just say hi or anything, he's in a much better mood. He's in a much better headspace now. He's much happier. Because he loves to stream.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, yeah, I know how he feels on that. So I'm like, cool.
So I kind of want to know, do you have any kind of best moments that you've had streaming, or most fun moments that you've had streaming?
Let me see. Well, okay, as far as just, I'll kind of break this down into a couple of different things. One of them, as far as just stuff happening in the game while I was streaming and people going, oh my god, at that, was during the hunt. When I was still doing that, I was throwing items on the altar in Dragon Keep.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, occasionally it would spawn a Tubby Bones and I would get something from the Chubby item pool. But then I throw and I've got this highlighted on my channel and I uploaded it on my YouTube. I throw a legendary Pointman class mod that I had gotten earlier in the hunt. I throw it on the altar, figuring, okay, another of whatever. And the altar did something I had never seen it do before. It said something to the effect of, I officially declare that you are awesome. And it throws a pearlescent at me.
Oh, wow. I
got a stalker. I mean, not the best pearlescent, but still, it's like, whoa, I just got a pearl from the altar.
Yeah.
And I had a disembodied voice tell me I was awesome. But as far as, like, well, actually, this one is pretty much not related to gaming, but it was on my Twitch channel, and technically it was actually a breach of Twitch code of conduct.
Oh, right, yes, yeah.
The dance.
Yeah.
So, as I was approaching 500 followers, some of the regulars in the chat were talking about, how I'm going to celebrate 500, and they decided this. They were like, you're going to dance. I was like, no, I'm not. And they were like, yes, you are. And I'm like, oh, crap, yes, I am. I'm not the dancing sort, really. But I figured, hey, they want to see it, I'll give it to them. So they had me dance to Caramel Dancing.
No idea what that is.
It's basically, it's like a
terrible cheesy song.
Kind of, sorta. It's like a club techno song done by a Swedish group. But,
okay.
I did some reading up on it because it was on knowyourmeme.com. Did some reading on the history of how it infiltrated internet culture. And the song was huge over in Japan. And somebody set it to some anime girls dancing. And it just kind of became a bit of a meme from there. Like, people would set it to various characters dancing.
Right.
And so, yeah, my viewers wanted to see me dance to that, doing that dance. Which is a pretty simple dance. You basically, like, put your hands up above your head like cat ears. And you Basically swing your hips left, right, and yeah. It's a goofy dance, and I kept telling myself, like, this was like an ultimate test for me, because this was after I had gone through all that anxiety therapy. And so this was like very nerve-wracking for a bit there, but it became a very good test for, okay, let's see how good this therapy and the stuff I picked up through it actually works.
Right.
And I was remarkably, like, I was surprised at how much I figured I was gonna like break down and cry in the middle of it and make an ass of myself on the internet for everyone to see and never live it down.
But that didn't happen?
It didn't. I actually, started doing the dance, and then during a bit of a kind of a break in the rhythm of the song, I kind of leaned forward, looked at what was being said in the chat, and people were ecstatic. They were excited. They were just totally hyped for it. And I was like, yeah. And for the second half of the song, I was way more feeling the music and the dancing, and just, it was great. I've never been the sort to like cut loose like that.
Right. That's cool.
So it was like, dude. So yeah, it's like, wow, I'm starting to grow as a person because of the live streaming and because of my viewers. It's like, I never thought that this kind of thing would happen.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go and watch that because I haven't actually seen it.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, it's ridiculous, and, my very pale skin against the mostly, like, I've got my green screen pushed back as far as I could, but around the edges of it, you can see white walls. So white walls and my white skin.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you said it's against Twitch terms of service, I was just gonna say I was watching yesterday. There was the music
Man.
thing. What was it? I think there's a bunch of like is it scandal around it? I guess like.
Well, yeah,
There's
saw a
people
picture.
dancing, and apparently there were people with their tops off and stuff dancing, and the cameras went straight to it and things like that. And
Oh.
Twitch is just like, Twitch doesn't care because hundreds of thousands of people are watching it, and it's going to make them a shitload of money. And it kind of does, it gives Twitch a better standing in terms of it's an actual service to use for actual things, but at the same time it's like this seems to be against a whole bunch of terms of service for Twitch that a lot of people who do Twitch to make a living would get banned over.
Yeah,
It's like it's
double standard.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. But then there were people saying on Twitter, like, and it kind of makes sense, but the people who were dancing weren't like they weren't the ones streaming, so they weren't the ones complicit in the uploading to Twitch, so it wasn't their fault. So then it was somehow okay to stream that on Twitch, and then someone did a great comment like, well, so then if I go to a festival where everyone's running around naked, it's fine to stream that. It's it's a strange thing.
Yeah, wasn't it? I think Man vs. Game tweeted something like that or something. But yeah, to me, it seemed kind of odd. It was like, wait, so us regular folks don't get to do that, but you get to make exceptions because lots of money?
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's with everything, isn't it? Money.
Oh, yeah.
Money gives you exceptions.
Yeah. Sad but true. I'm not a big fan of money.
I like money.
Well, I like the things money can get me and all this, but I hate what it does to...
It's got its good and bad points, definitely.
Exactly, yeah.
So that was your best moment in your streaming stuff, and the other one was your best in-game moment. Is there any other kind of standout moments in streaming so far? Any giant raids that were just incredibly crazy and insane?
I mean, there's been a couple of big raids, or at least by my standards, they were big. I've been raided by Rob Leeson and by Smikers.
Oh, right.
And each one of them brought over 100 people. Like, I think one of the raids was closer to 200 people.
Wow.
And yeah, just so many follows, and yeah, some of those people have stuck around too, which was great to me, because it's like, cool, I've got
New people
that
to
I can
talk
actually
to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, no matter how much no matter how close I seem to get with people in my chat, which is one of the cooler parts about being a smaller streamer, is I can actually, kind of get a little closer with the people that are there. But no matter what, we always end up eventually running out of stuff to talk about at some point.
Yeah, yeah. Even if they still enjoy watching you and they're still cool to have around, it's kind of like you've said most of the stuff. They know most of the things that they would like to know.
Yeah.
New people are always good to have in chat. And
yeah, new people, and also people have started talking to each other, which is really good.
Yeah.
And that means, they're not just there for me. It's, it's almost like, hey, this is the diner where the kids go to after school. Or whatever,
your little corner of Twitch.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are afraid to say, like, it's cool that I've got this many followers now and this many people watching me every time. But I think people should, like, it is a cool thing. The numbers, even though it's kind of like that's not really the point of a lot of people's streaming is the numbers, but the numbers are still quite a cool thing. Having a lot of people coming in and chatting and talking to you and talking to other people, it's always a cool thing. So the fact that you get a consistent number of viewers now, don't you? And it's quite a few. It's quite a
fairly consistent. It dropped off a bit when I quit playing Borderlands 2 on the stream.
Right. But that's understandable, because a lot of people mostly enjoy watching Borderlands stuff. But yeah. I think I said what I was trying to say.
Yeah, sorry about that. Didn't mean to
No, don't worry. I've been interrupting you the whole time. So, and I didn't feel like it was an interruption anyway, so.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as like the audience, I've got the regulars, I've got people that I would be willing to put money against somebody else, that it's like, no, this guy's gonna show up and this guy's gonna say something smart alecky when he shows up. This guy's just gonna say hi in all caps when he gets there. It's like, no, I know how things end up around here. It's
Yeah. Got your own little community. Right.
Yes. No, sorry.
So someone's just popped up in chat and said, "Me caps locked," in exclamation mark. So
yeah, Nerdzerker is a friend of mine. He's been a friend of mine since like 5th grade. And
all right, that's cool.
He's there at the streams quite often. And yeah, and that's who was saying me in the chat. So yeah.
All right, that was the most fun and best moments streaming. If you're just tuning in, we're just talking about the best moments while streaming. Having a good podcast here. Anyway, the next kind of thing on my list is your plans for the future. And I know you were talking before about wanting to be partnered, and also the fact that you might have to cut down the amount of time you're streaming to pay the bills with other side jobs and things like that.
Yeah.
What do you have any other kind of plans or hopes for the future in terms of streaming or the games you want to play, that kind of thing?
Well, like I said, Dark Souls will be coming up soon. Some Skyrim as well. And recently I got to thinking, I haven't done any of those like uh, specialty type runs in Borderlands 2. Like I've never done an allegiance run where you pick a manufacturer or have one randomly selected or picked by the viewers for you.
Mm-hmm.
And do a playthrough like that. And I've never tried a one life run.
Right, yeah. I don't think I've done either of those either.
So I've been thinking about maybe definitely giving one of those a try. I'm just not sure where I would want to start,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a straw poll with my viewers.
Straw poll's good.
Yeah.
Talking of straw poll, you've given me a chance to say this. I've got a straw poll.
Oh.
There's a straw poll I've got going. Just I'm wondering if people would like to see face cams in the podcast rather than just the audio. So I think it'll be in the description of the YouTube video, and I have a Nightbot command that I've completely forgotten that has it as well, or something or other to do with Nightbot. But anyway, yes, there's a straw poll. It should be in the description somewhere of something. So if you want to see face cams, or you don't want to see face cams, or you don't care, say it there. Anyway, you were saying Borderlands and going back to that and doing an Allegiance run or something. Is there anything else? Doing all the other games and...
Yeah, I've been... I've been wanting to do, like, more playing with other streamers as well, like dual streams and whatnot. So I'm thinking about, like, using Tabletop Simulator, doing, like, a virtual tabletop night, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And like doing some co-op. Like I recently kind of took my first bite of Castle Crashers, and played a little bit with viewers, but it was kind of weird because there's not really a smooth drop in drop out system with that.
Okay.
Every time somebody new is gonna join, you have to basically, as the host, you have to exit all the way out and then create a new co-op session and send invites.
Right. It's
And
a
I was
little
like,
bit more
that's...
difficult than Borderlands.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, maybe that would be a thing that I should do with like other streamers. So that way, when we do it for X amount of time, and then when we're done, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to go in, out, in, out, in, out. But yeah, so basically hoping to do some co-op with other streamers, and yeah.
Cool.
And hopefully find some open lobby stuff that I can do with viewers too.
Yeah. It's always good to have the viewers come in, because a lot of them want to come in and play, and it's nice to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Right. So this is usually the time where I would announce the Q&A portion of this, but I feel like we don't really have anyone who will probably ask any questions. There is Nerdzerker on Twitch at the moment, but I'm sure he's already asked you everything he wants to ask you.
Well,
unless
at
he has
some point
something
in the last like 20 years.
yeah, exactly. Unless he has something he particularly would like to hear on the podcast, then we might skip that section. But I still have a couple of things more to talk with you about.
Sure.
One of those is any advice for new or just not just new, but just anyone thinking about streaming, anyone who is currently streaming, who might want to have some advice? Do you have any for them?
Let me see. As far as the like technical side of stuff, I'd say whatever program you use, OBS, XSplit, whatever, get familiar with it before you start, as best you can, because that'll save you a lot of that frustration of trying to sort out technical issues with an audience.
Yeah, that's a good point. Or I'll just add to that. Do it in the least technical, like just have a stream of the game to start with. If you just want to get into it, just have the picture of the game up. Don't try and put in follower alerts and things like that straight away.
Yeah.
Do that in small portions and get it in there when you can have the time to fully figure it out and test it and things like that, because definitely trying to sort out technical issues on stream can be both stressful and boring for the people watching as well sometimes. So yeah.
And then as far as the one of the biggest things, and I picked this up from I think I at one point had messaged, I think it might have been you that I messaged a link to some content from Obizianka.
Yes, it was me. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the video of hers on YouTube on, you know, how basically how to be a good streamer. One of the biggest things that hit home for me on that was she said, don't look at your viewer count. And some people like me, I cannot not look at numbers. I mean, heck, for a while there, I was considering studying to become a data scientist.
All right.
They're all about data analysis, numbers, all that.
So it's very difficult to not look at the numbers then.
Yeah. So I just had to resolve myself to, you know, not let the numbers determine how I value the stream and how I feel like I'm doing.
The enjoyment of the stream. Don't make it, if you have less viewers, then it's less enjoyable. Try and make it...
Yeah.
Like, I understand that completely. Like, you can still have a heap of fun playing a game and talking to a few people, just the same as you can have a heap of fun playing a game and talking to thousands of people, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, the experience for you doesn't have to be too different. Although, in saying that, I think numbers are useful as well. Like,
definitely.
And it's nice to have those milestones that you can look for as well. So, as I guess finding that happy medium of looking at numbers but not using them to determine your enjoyment.
Yeah, exactly. For me, for me, it was almost like the numbers were part of the fun for me on that. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, okay, I get to go play some video games, and then afterwards, I get to look at numbers and do math and plug stuff into a spreadsheet and whatnot.
I know I love doing that with when I upload a YouTube video. I'll have the statistics up on the page, looking at the view count, and then yesterday, I just uploaded a new a video of something I found in the pre-sequel, which was already a thing found by other people, I found out. But anyway, I uploaded it and then posted a thing on the Borderlands subreddit, and I was watching the view count, and then suddenly there's a view, and there's a few views, and there's another view, and it's kind of like, oh, look at that, that's nice.
Well, was that the dual wielding thing that you found?
Yeah, that was the having a pistol in the offhand and any other gun in your on hand at the same time.
Yeah, Well, I had heard, or I thought that they had patched that with the recent update, but
Yeah, there was the dual wielding two of the same gun that aren't pistols thing that I think they fixed that one, but I
oh,
guess they
okay,
didn't fix the offhand on hand different gun ones.
okay. So,
Although I haven't actually tested the dual wielding the same like dual wielding rocket launchers or something like that. I haven't tested that one out yet,
oh,
but yeah, that would be fun.
yeah. I was gonna
Yeah.
say,
So,
there's also
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
it just triggered a thought to me because in a video of Baru's, he showed that like if you're playing as Claptrap and you get the meat unicycle
Oh yes,
and you can
yes.
drop the buzz axe.
Oh
And I'm
my
sitting there thinking to
goodness.
myself, I wonder if Nisha can dual wield those.
Oh my goodness. No way. That would be awesome.
Or even at the very least, just have one of those in one hand and a pistol in the other.
Yeah.
That's,
I
that'd
it's
be
a
fun to
cool thing
experiment with.
that you can drop the axe. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, well, only on PC though.
Wow, yeah, everything's better on PC though, isn't it? Uh-huh.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Actually, that's a bug,
I
so it's probably not better. Anyway,
yeah, technically it's
technically it's worse.
technically, but more fun for us, I guess,
Yeah.
till they fix it.
Uh, if you've finished with the advice there, have you finished with the advice? Do you reckon?
Um,
Or did you have any other wisdom for the people?
um, mm, I'll say another one of the bits that I got from Obizianka's video that I put into play, and it seemed to have helped a fair bit. Uh, Even if you're keeping your Twitch persona separate from your real life persona, if you tell people that if you tell people in your real life that, you're doing this thing and it would help you out, or yeah, if you tell them it will help you out, that if they come out or even just leave a browser tab open to it, then as long as you're not completely surrounded by assholes, somebody will show up. Somebody will be there for you. And I've been lucky enough. I've had several people, several friends, even my younger brother, who he always runs a pretty busy life. Even he's managed to pop in and at least to say hi and check out what I'm doing.
Yeah, I've had a few friends jump in on stream. The first time it happened, I was like, "This is weird because I know you outside of this, and you're seeing who I am inside of this streaming thing." But yeah, it is nice to have people jump in. It's always nice to have people jump in.
Yeah. I mean, it's good because then there's people that you're comfortable talking to already,
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah.
and you get the added perk of more people in the chat, which means you're higher on the list for whatever game you're playing or on somebody's follow list. Either way, it ranks it by number of viewers, so more likely to be seen, which means more likely people are going to come in and say hi.
And then more fun.
Exactly.
More different fun, not just fun is increased. If you understand. Going back to that, don't have the viewer count make you fun or not fun.
Right. You get to introduce your new friends to your old friends.
Yeah, there you go, yeah. And
that's always...
answer new questions and
Yep.
yeah. Alright, so are you looking forward to anything? What are you looking forward to most in the short term or the long term, I guess? in terms of streaming?
Just like I said, I'm going to be sinking my teeth into a couple of new games. I'm sure I'm going to meet new people from those games communities. So it's going to be like, hey, I get to meet new people. And at the same time, explore the fun games too. So yeah, just basically looking forward to more of the same.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, that's everything that I wanted to cover in the podcast. Is there anything that you wanted to say or wanted to talk about in the podcast?
Can't think of anything.
Cool.
Overall, my life's been kind of narrow focus, streaming and visit my kids.
And we've covered both of those things, so there you go.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, so thank you very much for being on the podcast, Ginger. I enjoyed that.
Thanks for having me.
I hope other people enjoyed it and will enjoy it. Thanks to everyone who listened or was on Twitch watching or will listen. You would currently be listening if you're hearing this, so thanks to you. Thank you. Now, Ginger, check out your links at people. Where can people find you, the interesting person, Ginger?
On Twitch, TheGingerGinger. No punctuation or anything. It's just all one word. And I'm also on Twitter, at TheGingerGinger. Same deal, all one word. On YouTube, I have not gotten a customized link yet, so the best way I can direct people to my YouTube would be go to my Twitch page and check my links section. And it's got a link to my YouTube page on there.
Excellent. So YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. The TheGingerGinger. Yep. He's got stuff all over it.
Yep.
Myself, I am Mr. Gruntle on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. All of them / Mr. Gruntle should get you to my stuff. I'm also Mr. Gruntle on Steam if you want to add me and jump into a Borderlands game at any stage, if I'm doing an open lobby type deal. So other than that, thanks again to everybody. Biggest thanks to you, Ginger, for being on the podcast, making this interesting. And,
again, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
First time on a podcast. So,
yeah, so interesting experience then?
Yes.
Cool. Well, the people who are listening on Twitch, if you missed any of it, there will be a full upload of this on YouTube with some slightly better audio smoothing and things like that. I touch up the audio a little bit. Anyway, that's why do you guys need to know about that? You don't need to know. You don't need to know. Anyway, it's on YouTube. It will be on YouTube soon anyway. So if you wanted to hear the rest of it, then go over there. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. And I hope you have a good day or night or morning or afternoon or whatever time it is for you. And thanks for listening.